What's up, YouTube? So I want to talk for a little bit today about identity in fitness and the different ways that that can help us, but more often than not, actually get in our way and hurt our progress and hurt us as we go forward. Let me first start by just defining what I mean by identity, just to make sure we're on the same page. So when I say identity, it's as simple as you call yourself a runner. I'm a runner. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm a powerlifter. I am a Crossfitter. I do high rocks. I do yoga. I do Pilates, right? Whatever the thing is that you do, you often, when people say, oh, do you work out? I do Pilates. People look at you and they're, oh, wow, look at you. Dude, what do you do? I'm a powerlifter, right? It's easy. It gives you a script. It explains quickly to the people you're talking to exactly what you're about, what you do, and how you got like this, right? But it's not just about the other people and about explaining it. It gives you so many things. So, and I'm going to give a few specific examples from the world that I've lived in. So let's talk about just powerlifting and running. If I'm a powerlifter, my choices are made for me. I know what programming looks like. I know what success looks like. I know what clothes to buy. I know what stuff to wear in the gym. I know what supplements to get. I know what meals to eat. Because there's consistency across the board between the powerlifting community, between powerlifting influencers, between the podcast, the magazines, the Instagram accounts, all these different things that we follow, that we pay attention to. There tends to be this ubiquitous consistency that exists across the board with everybody, where before you know it, we're all drinking White Monsters and we're all using bands and chains. People are lifting in chucks. There's clothing brands that pop up that are niche, that are really specific to the stuff that we care about. The same thing is true of running. There are specific shoes that you buy. There's specific gels and supplements and electrolytes and things like that. There's things that only runners really know about. There's whole supplements and stores and places to go and clothing brands that cater to running needs that no other sport really even knows about. But more importantly than feeding us exactly what to do and how to be and how to act, we get an automatic community of other people. And that can be literal, like you have a run club or you have a gym that you go to where you see the same friends every day. You see the same acquaintances, the same people in the gym. It makes you feel like you're a part of something that's a little bit bigger than yourself, perhaps, part of something that goes on in the world without you, but a part of something where you suddenly feel like you're together with a community of people doing the same kinds of things for the same kinds of reasons. You can measure it, you can understand it, you get it. And you know when someone's another powerlifter that you're going to end up with some similarities, and you kind of know that you're going to be able to speak the same language, and that just feels so good. The big problem, though, comes with, what if you don't perfectly align with that identity? The easiest way to think about this, and not to get too political, but do you perfectly agree with every single point that your political party might believe in or vote for? Just going to leave that question there. I'm not going to talk about any of it. Just going to leave it there. You tell me. Probably not. If you do, I'm not sure why you're watching this channel, because I provide more wordiness and nuance than you probably are all that interested in. Let's be honest. So I'm imagining that you probably don't. So let's just stick with that. The same thing is true for the stuff that your in-group believes, the fitness identity believes. It's like, if you're a CrossFitter, do you really want to eat paleo all the time or keto? Like, probably not, right? And that's okay. You don't have to, even though that was like a big thing in the CrossFit community, is like all of those particular kinds of diets. If you do a lot of yoga, do you really want to be vegan? Sometimes you do. Sometimes you really care very deeply and it's an animal welfare issue or it's a moral issue for you, and that's perfectly fine. But doesn't it feel a little bad not to be when everyone else is, right? And that's the point that I'm making, is those are some silly, cute examples about diet, but what if it wasn't so cute and silly? And what if you really needed to eat, act, move, supplement, hydrate in completely different ways, because your body requires things, your schedule requires things, your family life, your mind, how you think about it is different. You're ultimately going to end up hurting yourself by sticking with this identity that you're trying to keep with because it feels good. I know that for me, over time, I got tired of other people telling me what my fitness goals should be. And the question I have for you is, do you feel the same way? You kind of get a sense of what you want, how you feel in your body, what your health looks like, what you're looking for, your interests, what you see out in the world. And then you have these other people that feel familiar to you, your community, your group telling you, well, no, that's not what we do, right? We don't do that cardio. We do this cardio, or we don't do cardio at all. Why are you eating like that? We eat like this. Here's your white monster friend. Why are you having a Red Bull? What are you, some triathlete now? The problem becomes it feels very painful to disassociate or to separate yourself from those groups, because it's not just about doing something that's different. It's ultimately about losing the entire identity that you had as part of that group, and then uncoupling and undoing everything that we just said that group gives you. It's not just the connection with those people. It's the clarity of, what do I do? How do I train? How do I eat? What clothes do I wear? Where do I go during the day? What does that all look like? How do I feel during my day? All of that changes when you change your fitness identity. The trap that we tend to fall into is we pick a lane that helps describe us because it does align with the goal that we think we have, or a goal that we actually really do have for a period of time. Whatever that was, whether it's like, I want to be a runner, I want to bulk, I want to cut, I want to be a bodybuilder, I want to try CrossFit, whatever it is, right? For a while, that label just describes what you're doing, but eventually that label quietly becomes you, and it starts to decide for you what you're doing. And then the label now is in charge. You're not in charge anymore. You're not making choices. And everything I talk about in all these videos and all of my posts is about making choices for yourself. Think, stop, take a step back, choose. But when you have one of these fitness identities, you're not getting to really choose anymore. It's choosing for you. Instead of weighing decisions against your actual goals and what they will do for you, how they make you feel, what you think about them, you start weighing the decisions against whether it fits the story of you in this particular identity. Would people who do this thing do what I'm thinking about doing? My own specific example here, I'm going to talk about running. I made the very challenging decision today, as I'm recording this video in the late afternoon now. This morning, I made the decision that I am no longer a runner. I've decided to give up on that label. I've decided to give up on how running makes me feel, because at this point in my life, I've proven to myself that I don't need to run to have the health and body composition that I want. And so I have to ask myself, why am I running then? I don't like it. It's physically extraordinarily uncomfortable for me. I've never once gone on a run and enjoyed it during the run. I like the feeling of afterwards. I like the feeling of have completed a run. I like what running generally does for my fitness and my health. But as I mentioned in other previous videos, there's tons of other modalities I can use to be just as fit, if not fitter, just as healthy, if not healthier, as I've been able to prove to myself in this last few months with my blood work and my body composition. I got leaner than I've ever gotten when I stopped running. I got healthier than I've ever gotten in my blood work when I stopped running. I'm wasting less time during the day preparing for the run, getting my body ready, stressing out about when am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? How does my stomach feel? Do I have the right fuel? Where am I going to go to do this thing? I have to drive over here because I live in a neighborhood with all these hills and I have to go on a treadmill and right. And it's just stress. It was just tons of stress for something that I was only really doing because it fit my life at the time. And then I let it make decisions for me. Because my label that I enjoyed for a little while was as a hybrid athlete. I was hybrid. I was hybrid AF, bro. And that's because at the time, not a lot of people were. And it was a way for me to hide away from some of these other fitness identities that I knew didn't really suit me anymore. I knew I wasn't really a powerlifter anymore. I probably never really was. It was something that I did for a variety of reasons, but it was never something that I completely bought into and fell in love with. I knew that I wasn't really a bodybuilder because I was never going to really compete in a real way because, as for my story, like I have a fair amount of loose skin from all the weight loss, and that tends to not score very well on a bodybuilding stage. So I knew I wasn't going to compete for real in bodybuilding. I knew that with my body size and my history of health conditions, I very likely was not going to be like a competitive runner of any kind. I don't have the genetics for that. So the idea of doing this weird stuff at the time of like lifting a little bit and running a little bit, like that's a new thing. Not a lot of people were doing that. And so it felt good to find an identity and to find a niche of people who were doing a little of whatever. And it kind of felt cool. And it felt good to me at the time to find a community again that was different. And then everyone became hybrid. And then High Rocks came into play. And now everyone is hybrid-ish or hybrid adjacent, and it no longer feels the way it felt to me. And so I asked myself lately several times over the last few weeks, what exactly am I doing and why am I doing it? What are my reasons? And I don't have any. I don't have any good reasons as I sit here in front of you today for why I should go for a run, why I want to go for a run, why going for a run would be better for me than any other thing that I could do. I don't have any reasons to say yes. So I've decided to stop stressing out about it and just get rid of that identity. And if I get rid of the identity that I'm a runner or I'm a hybrid person, I'm left with something that's beautiful, and I'm left with something that is freeing and it takes weight off my chest, but it's also very scary in some ways because I no longer have a community. I no longer have an identity. I no longer have the obvious thing that covers my choices and makes my choices for me. That means I actually have to sit back and think and make all of my choices myself again, which is awesome and powerful and wonderful and thought-provoking and terrifying. And it is very scary to have a wall of choices in front of me and to have to think deeply about each thing. Now, the lucky thing is I'm an overthinker and I've got plenty of time to think. So I'm sure I'll be okay. But this is the thing that I like to do with clients too, is to have these kinds of conversations to say, what is your identity and how does that actually fit with your goals? Since there is no one way that we have to train or eat or build our bodies, we ultimately just get to step back and say, what is the life I want? What are the things that really do ultimately matter to me and why? And then what's the best way to get those things? I don't need there to be a specific label or a specific identity. I just need the goal. I need to understand those goals and go back to my goals video and the articles and things I've written on goals, because goals, I think, are the driving factor of importance on all of these things. But coming back to, so what is the actual goal? How do I accumulate as many qualities as I possibly can that get me toward that goal? And then what of those particular kinds of qualities and modalities and ways of doing all of that actually fit my life? Actually fit how much time I have to train or how much time I'm able to create to train if I don't have a lot of time right now. What fits my resources, my recovery capabilities, the amount of money I'm willing to spend on these things, these hobbies for my fitness. I feel like somewhere along the way, athletics completely hijacked health and fitness, and they're not the same thing. It is not important that you compete in athletic pursuits. It just isn't. What is important is your health. What is important is how you feel every day in your body. What is important is, do you get to say yes in your life because you are capable of doing the kinds of things you actually want to do? It's just you and your body for the rest of your life. You are the only person that cares deeply about your health, how you feel, how you move, all those kinds of things. So I offer this. Don't be a lifter. Don't be a runner. Don't be a powerlifter. Don't be a bodybuilder. Don't be these things unless there's a specific athletic pursuit that you have decided that you actually really care about. It fits your goals. It fits your why. If it doesn't, just be a builder. Be someone who picks up the right tool at the right time that the goal requires. Be a collector. Collect a variety of different qualities and things you think are interesting from all of these different training modalities or sports. Every tool you add, every tool you collect that you use to build is something that you get to add capacity to your life with. The actual payoff here that we're looking for is not just looking better in the mirror, looking better naked, though that will come, of course, no pun intended. But you're giving yourself the tools to not have to say no. The ability to say yes to things you care about. Not just aesthetics, not just a number on the bar, but the ability to actually say yes to something that you want to do in your life. When it comes up, instead of sitting out because you have to say, sorry, I can't because that's not what my identity does. Or sorry, I can't because I'm not physically capable of doing those kinds of things. So I'm looking for my people. If you fell through the cracks of the fitness industry identities too, the same way that I have over and over again in my life, if you still don't feel good in your body, if you need to feel seen or heard or finally get the support you're looking for, what is it about the fitness industry that left you behind? Drop a comment below. What is your current identity? If it's not runner, if it's not Crossfitter, if it's not powerlifter, what do you want it to be? What words resonate with you? What words resonate with your values? I know for me, I just want to be jacked and healthy. It's as simple as that. I want to feel good. At this age, that's really all I care about. Thanks for your time and attention. Don't forget to do the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, share, do all those things. Send this video to somebody who you think is struggling with a fitness identity right now. It might be the thing that they need to hear to give them the permission that they're looking for to drop that and move on and do the thing that's ultimately going to be what's right for them.